what is going on with people these days, man. I don't know. It seems like everybody wants... I don't know. I don't know. It seems like there's this tough guy or fake tough guy revolution that's happening right now. People are taking a couple of jiu-jitsu classes and they think they're MMA fighters and they just go around looking for trouble. So let me just paint the picture for you. Let me tell you what happened. This was this morning, by the way. I'm about an hour and a half post-workout, and I just had to tell you guys about this because this is the craziest shit I've ever seen. So I'm in the gym. I'm doing legs, right? So in my gym, I'll just give you a layout of it. At my gym, there's about 9 places to do squats, okay? There's a set of 6 squat racks that are all bolted together like one of those TRX machines. So there's 6 places you could do squats right there. And then there's 3 independent squat racks. So I am actually at a squat rack that's right next to that group of 6. So I'm in there doing squats. And if there's one thing that I really, really hate that people do very consistently, it's that they walk up to the rack that you're working at, whether it's squats or bench press or whatever it is, but if it's a rack that can hold several weights on it while you're not using it, okay? I hate it when people come up and they just take the weight off of your rack. It's like, dude, I'm using that, man, or I might be using it. You don't know. Why don't you say something? Now, that having been said, I'm not using it right then at the moment, but I might be. And I give people the same courtesy that I would want from them. So if I am looking for a weight and, you know, sometimes they're hard to find, you know, a 45 or a 10 or whatever it is, you know, I'll try to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I'll at least ask. I'll say, hey, buddy, are you going to use that 10? Can I use this? And sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. You know, it's not a big deal. You know, you go and you find it. You know, you're a grown man. You got there, you know, figure it out yourself. You know, this is not nursery school, okay? So that's what happened to me today. And I'll tell you, when people ask me if I'm using a weight or if they can use something that's in my vicinity, 99% of the time I'll say yes. Even if I was actually going to use it, most of the time I will say yes, just because they were nice enough to ask. That's real talk right there. If you're nice enough to ask, usually yeah, go ahead. You know, you can use it. I'll figure it out. No, not a big deal. But it's just really, really disrespectful to me when people don't ask and just take it. That pisses me off. And to me, you know, it's like, you know, I mean, first of all, I'm in the gym, so I've got a lot of testosterone and a lot of rage that I'm trying to work out. And you coming into my house and reaching into my refrigerator and taking my damn beer, why don't you just come over to my house and fuck my wife while you're at it? I know that's an extreme example, but, you know, when I'm in the gym and I'm in the middle of a leg day, I mean, that's the kind of mindset that I'm in, okay? So just give you an example of how I'm feeling. So anyway, I'm on squats, right? I'm having a great leg day this morning. This morning, I actually did 315 for 2 sets of 8. Then I brought it up to 365 for 2 sets of 6, and then 405 for 2 sets of 4. So for me, that's a pretty good series. I mean, just the fact that I was able to do 6 working sets was great for me. So I'm on that first set of 315. So that's 3 plates on each side, for those of you who don't know. So next is going to be 225s on each side. And this jagoff with a bunch of Mickey Mouse tattoos with his little 96-pound girlfriend are in there. And this guy just walks up while I'm in the middle of a set and takes a 25-pound plates off my damn rack. Have you lost your mind? Are you crazy? How are you going to just walk up in the lion's den and take my damn steak? Are you crazy? So anyway, again, usually I try not to be a combative person. I don't like getting into confrontations with people, especially when I'm in the gym. That's supposed to be my place of zen and peace and getting shit done in general. So I try not to muck it up by starting shit with people. But you're not just going to come down there and just take my stuff, man. Are you nuts? So what I did, you know, I racked the weight really hard. You know, he went up, he took it, he saw me, he made eye contact. And he still took it. So I racked the weight real hard. Bang! On the freaking rack. And I said, hey, I'm using that. What's the matter with you? And he's like, were you going to use this? Like, yeah, I was going to use it. And I said, and to be fair, I kind of egged him on a little bit. I said, yeah, I'm going to use it, punk ass. I egged him on a little bit. I called him that because when I said that, he dropped the weight. Now, that's the international symbol of let's get it on. That's the international guy to guy. That's the international, okay, you want a piece. I want a piece. That's the international symbol for that. Every grown-ass man knows what that means. If you're talking to somebody and he's holding something, a backpack or a whatever, if he's holding something, even if it could break, if he's trying to show you that he's ready to get down, he will drop whatever he's got in his hands and take a step back. That is the international, let's do this. Let's get it on, fam. Let's roll. Let's roll it out. So, anyway, this guy's about 170-something pounds, covered in tattoos. He looks like a douchebag. I'm not going to lie. I'm sorry. He looks like a scumbag. And as soon as he drops the weight, you know, then I step out from behind the rack. I'm not a fighter. I'm not a physically confrontational person, but I will do exactly what I tell my son to do. My son is 17, and I don't tell him to go around starting fights. I don't even tell him to engage fights. I tell him, if you can get away, get away. But if someone picks you, stand your ground. So that's all I was doing. I was just standing my ground. I came out from behind the squat rack. He dropped the weight and stepped back, and I said, you know, there's still about 10 feet between us, and it's just words being exchanged right now. You know, he's like, well, what's up? What's up? I'm like, I'll tell you what's up. You know, and now here comes Tiffany out to go and stand in between us. He's like, Billy, don't. Billy, stop it. Billy, just forget it. Billy, you're being a dumbass. Come on, Billy, let's go. And I'm like, yeah, I'm egging him on. I'm like, yeah, Billy, you better listen to her. Your ego will heal a lot faster than a broken jaw. Trust me. So again, I'm egging him on, but I'm just like, eventually, I mean, nothing happened. I mean, it was just a couple of words. I mean, he changed, like, well, you know, I don't even remember what he said. You know, I was just making eye contact, just letting him know, look, I'm not going to go away. You did something I don't appreciate. Well, what a smart person would have done was just taken the L and been like, look, that guy's got about 100 pounds on me. I don't want to get involved in that. So let me just go back to my workout. Okay. That's what a sane, rational person would do. But again, I got to take responsibility for my end of it. I did kind of egg him on a little bit. But, I mean, I'm a grown-ass man, dude. I don't get into fights, okay? I haven't been into a fight since grade school, man. I mean, maybe even, like, junior high. Junior high is the last time I can remember getting into a fight. And it wasn't even a fight. It was just, you know, just shoving and, you know, getting in each other's face and a bunch of words being exchanged. You know, I don't know if, you know, I mean, it seems like the demon du jour these days is jiu-jitsu. You know, everybody wants to be an MMA fighter. Everybody wants to be like Conor McGregor or whoever. I don't really follow MMA that closely, but, you know, there's some guys out there that, you know, have some serious skill sets. And people take a couple of jiu-jitsu classes and they think they're on these guys' levels and they can talk shit. Like, no, you can't. It doesn't work like that, you know? And it's funny because it's this whole tough guy mentality, you know, it's really interesting because it's completely flipped when you meet an actual tough guy. Like my buddy Jojo, he's an actual badass. I mean, this is a guy was in special forces, you know, he's a professional fighter, you know, and you would never know because he's just chill, you know. You see him, he's actually my boss. You see him, he fist bumps you, you know, it's all good. You know, he's a very positive person, you know. I mean, granted, I wouldn't want to piss him off. I would not recommend pissing him off. But, you know, but he's not that kind of guy that goes around looking for trouble, you know? I mean, that's the difference. Like, real tough guys don't go looking for trouble. Because, seriously, what would have happened if his girlfriend wasn't there? If his girlfriend wasn't there, then we probably, like I said, I'm not going to run from anybody. The Juggernaut is not running from nobody, especially your candy ass in there squatting 150 pounds with a bunch of Mickey Mouse tattoos. I'm not backing down from you, bucko, okay? That's just the long and short of it. But actual tough guys don't have to make that distinction. Tough guys, actual tough guys, they have respect for people. Because they understand that it's better to have allies than enemies. Because even if you are the toughest guy walking, if you are a serious, no shit, Billy Badass, tough guy, Spec Wars, Sniper, Ranger, CIA, Blackwater badass, even if you're all those things, you can't take out 20 people. You can't take out 10 people. You're not. It's always a better idea to have allies than it is to have enemies. So that's why I don't understand why people go around seemingly collecting enemies. Because you could die a very, very lonely death like that if that's the way you're going to choose to work it. I mean, and you know what? I gotta blame this chick, you know, individually for most of this, you know, because I'll tell you something, when you get two guys that are about to clash, if the guy's girlfriend is there, he kind of knows that he's got a little bit of a scapegoat because, you know, nobody's girlfriend wants to see their boyfriend get beat up or even get into a fight because then, you know, with these days, you know, the cops are going to come and somebody's going to go to jail and then it's a whole thing. So most women are the voice of reason. I know my wife is definitely the voice of reason, you know, but a lot of times it's the females. Because let me tell you, this is the classic example. You ever go to a bar or a club? Like we used to go to this club in Arizona called I forget, karaoke bar. It was really, really cool. We used to go there all the time. As soon as I'm done with the podcast, I'll remember what it was, but it doesn't matter. But anyway, we used to go to this karaoke bar all the time. And every once in a while, there'd be like a confrontation. Usually the bouncers would stomp it out and kick the people out before it came to blows. But the fact is that most of the time, this actually happened to me one time. We were in this bar, and again, it's just a karaoke bar. We go in there, we sing some songs, we have some drinks, have a good time. You know, on nights we get a babysitter. It was a really fun time. So I'm in there, and I'm at the bar. I think I was just waiting for my order, and so I'm just standing there waiting. You know, I'm waving to my girl. I'm watching the karaoke, and I bump into this girl. I'm not even sure if I bumped into her or we bumped into each other, but there was bumping into that happened, you know. And this girl, I guess she was drunk. I don't think she was that drunk, if I'm honest. But this girl, I bumped into her, and I immediately turn around and say, "Oh, I'm sorry," you know, and I said, "Oh, sorry," and I just turned back to what I was doing, went on with my day. And this girl is like, "Excuse me, asshole." And I'm like, "I said I was sorry. Excuse me, my bad." And she's like, "Yeah, you are sorry, asshole." And she walks away, and I'm just like, I wasn't even like mad about it. I was like, well, what a bitch. Well, you know, okay. So she walks off all pissed off or whatever. And what do you think happens next? 2 minutes later, she comes back with her boyfriend, and he's like, "Hey man, what's the problem here?" I'm like, "Problem? Well, what problem?" I'd almost forgotten about it. That's how minuscule it was, other than the fact that she called me an asshole for bumping into her. I mean, she didn't spill anything, but now her boyfriend's involved. So now it's between me and him. And she's the peanut gallery out there selling wolf tickets, chattering it up and getting his blood pressure all jacked up. And I'm looking at this chick like, why you want to get your boy fucked up? Why? Don't you like this guy? Isn't he your boyfriend? Why you want to get him jacked up? And she's just like, "Yeah, that's the guy right there, Andrew." I don't remember the guy's name. I'm just making up a name. But that's the guy right there, Andrew. He bumped into me, and he didn't even say, "Excuse me." And I'm like, oh, this bitch. So now Andrew is involved in it. And he's like, "Hey, man, I don't appreciate you getting in my girl's face like that." I'm like, whoa, dude. First of all, you know, you're getting in my face right now, and nothing even happened between me and your girl. I bumped into her. I said, "Excuse me." And he kind of looked at her like, "Is that what happened?" Well, he said, "Excuse me," but I still didn't appreciate it. And me and this dude, thankfully, this guy was a little bit older and a little bit more mature, because he's kind of looking at me like, "Come on, I know she's a bitch. I know. So I'm like, so I didn't instigate it any further. I was like, "Look, buddy, I apologize to you. I apologize to your girl. I bumped into her. It happens when you're in a room full of fucking people. I mean, you know, it could happen from time to time. Your girl's not exempt from the laws of physics. I bumped into her. Get over it, you know." And he's kind of like, all right. I mean, with his eyes saying like, I know. I assume she's done this before, and he's had to get into it with maybe less rational people than me. But that's usually how it goes like that. I mean, that's usually why two grown men are going to get into a fight in the middle of God and everybody and probably get arrested, spend the night in jail over some broad. I mean, seriously. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen that unfold, and I just step right on back. Because first of all, we are not the couple that you want to get into that kind of thing with. Because my wife, sweetest lady in the world, sweetest lady, easygoing, just wants to go out and have a good time. That's why a lot of grown-ass men don't get into fights in bars like this. That's a young kid's game. You know why? Because if grown-ass people are in a bar on a weekend, that probably means that they've got a babysitter and they have jobs and they're out for the first time in maybe a couple of weeks. And the last thing we want to do is get into a fight with a grown-ass man over some dumb shit. Okay? That's just not how grown people operate. That's how young, dumb people operate, like this douchebag in the gym. So, you know, getting into fights as a grown man is never a good idea. I mean, getting into fights in general is never a good idea. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but usually it is. I mean, unless, you know, the person's holding my kid for ransom, well, then yeah, there's going to be a fucking fight. But for the most part, I mean, it's just words, man. And I tell you, it is a thing that comes with age, because words used to do it. Like I said in my last podcast about my stutter, if you said anything about my stutter, even if you mentioned it, my blood pressure was already starting to go up. I'm already up to about an 8, you know. But that's, you know, as a young kid. Now I'm damn near 40, man. I can't be getting into fights, man. I got arthritis in both knees. My back's jacked up. My shoulder's jacked up. I'm not getting into fights with nobody, okay? Seriously, even if you do talk about my mama, well, I mean, my mama's a nice lady, okay? I'm not gonna feel too much talk about my mama. But, you know, some old school, you know, that 90s shit, you know, I was all about your mama jokes. And if you couldn't come back with a mama joke good enough to top the guy who called your mama fat and ugly or teeth stink, then the only thing you got is that you got to rush him. That's the only thing you can do, is you do one of those real quick and hope he jumps. Then you win. But if he doesn't jump, all you can do is walk around with your tail between your legs. So, you know, yeah. Not cool. Not going down like that. But anyway, that just seems to be my major beef in the gym. I mean, listen, if you got a guy up there who's squatting heavy, who's doing, I mean, that doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter how strong you are. It's just basic human respect. Look, if you're gonna be in the gym, and like my gym, it's a really big gym, so it can fit a lot of people in there. If you're going to be in there, be a little bit mindful of, you know, of who's working on what. If you got a guy in there who's on the squat rack, on the bench press, it doesn't matter, and there's weight hanging from there, take 10 seconds, ask the guy, hey, can I use this? Are you using it? And if he says no, then take it. And if he says yes, then respect it. That's it, you know? There's too much testosterone. There's too much, you know, there's too much bravado and machismo going on in your average gym to play with that. I mean, I feel like I'm big enough to take out half the guys in this gym, but that's not going to do anything for me. So yeah, even if there's a guy who's only got a couple of 10s on the bench press, so what? I still respect him. He's in there getting his lift on. I'm not going to go in there and bust his balls. I'm going to ask him, hey, can I use this? In fact, that's usually a good scenario for me. If there's a guy in there who's maybe just starting on his fitness journey and he's only got 110 on each side of the bar doing bench press, squats, whatever, that's usually good news for me, because I can be like, hey, are you using those 45s? I know you're not, because you're just starting out and you're being smart about it. So, you know, just that basic respect is, you know, if you're going to be a tough guy, you know, you got to have some degree of respect, or you're not going to be a tough guy for very long. And it's very, very hard to be a tough guy with your jaw wired shut. You're talking about, oh yeah, you're talking about my girl. What are you going to do about it? Like, it looks like you already might have learned that lesson. I don't know why you and me are talking about it right now, but that was my morning. I hope it was. I hope y'all's morning was better than mine. It is only Saturday, so tomorrow's Sunday, and I'm doing bench press tomorrow. So let's see what's happening there. But I will say that 90% of the time, I don't have much to say to people in the gym in the first place. I try to stay in my own little bubble. Plus, I just bought these noise-canceling headphones, so that helps me shut out the world just a little bit more. But somehow these people still find their way in. And let me tell you something. Josh, Andrew, whoever you are out there, make sure you bring Tiffany with you if you're going to bust my balls in the gym, because next time I might not be so nice. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Like, share, and subscribe to BJBL Unleashed on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram while you're at it. In the meantime, you guys stay tuned for more Unleashed.